Take a look at this family. They are new in Canada. Welcome here. They have a great question. Their question is, what services do we get in Canada? That is a great question. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the services you can get in Canada. Hey, I'm making a series of videos for people who are newcomers to Canada to try to help them out a little bit. So hey, if you want more videos like this, I would be so happy if you subscribe to my channel right down there. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is that the government of Canada actually has a website that talks about this kind of stuff. Okay, I'll post the link to this website down there in the description. So look at this. Find free newcomer services near you. Wow, that's great. That might be exactly what you're looking for. Okay, look at this. Job-related stuff, language, stuff you can take free English classes, okay, here, or French classes here in Canada, probably at a place near you and for free. Who doesn't like free things? That's great. I love free things. Okay, you can, have help finding a place to live, help filling out forms, different kinds of documents that you might need for work or for, different government type of stuff. You can get help for that. You can sign up your kids for school. Hey, that might be a reason you've come to Canada. So in Canada, we have free school from K to 12, all the way from kindergarten to grade 12. You don't have to pay for your kids to go to public school. Now, there are some private schools in Canada where you do have to pay money for, but you don't have to go to those schools. If you want free school, your kids can go to Canadian public school for free from K to 12. Unfortunately, college, university, that's not free. That's pretty expensive. Not as expensive as the US. The US is like super expensive. Canada is just normal expensive. Okay, and also before kindergarten is daycare, right? Do you get free daycare? No, not at all. No free daycare, unfortunately. If you have a few babies, unfortunately you don't. And you know what? It's actually really expensive. Okay, I want to show you some numbers that I saw on the Global News website. Global News is a Canadian news source, and these numbers are from 2017. Okay, so they're pretty recent. I'll post the link to this article down there in case you want to read it too. Okay, so look at that. Toronto, $1,212 per month. Okay, that says median cost of preschool care per month by city. Median means average. Okay, so more than $1,200 per month per child. Wow, that is insane. If you have 2 kids, that means you're paying almost $2,500 per month to put them in daycare. That's not factoring in food cost for your family, rent, gas, car insurance, all other kinds of expenses. I mean, if you're paying $2,500 just to put your 2 kids in preschool, you must have a really good job. How much are you making? I wish I was making as much as you are. Okay, look at this. All these cities, all the major cities in Canada, more than 1,000. Well, at least most of the biggest cities, okay? More than 1,000. Now over here we have, well, maybe just under 1,000, Vancouver, just under 1,000. So it's still really expensive, right? Then we get to Quebec, and it's 183 everywhere in Quebec. So it's a lot cheaper in Quebec. The reason is that the province of Quebec subsidizes. Subsidize means they help pay for this to make it more affordable. But look at all these. This is really high cost. It would almost be better to quit your job and take care of your kids yourself. That's maybe what I would do. Okay, so what about healthcare? Does your family have access to Canadian healthcare? Yes, you do. Now, in Canada, healthcare is a provincial matter. Every province has a slightly different system. Okay, so you just need to Google, the province that you're going to move to and figure out how that works, okay? But most of the time you have to live in the province for 3 months before you can apply to get your healthcare card, your health insurance card. Okay, so for example, if you move from Ontario to Alberta, you have to live here for 3 months and then you can apply to be on Alberta Health. Okay, so a lot of people think Canada has free healthcare. Is that true? Well, not really. Sort of, but not really. Okay, in Alberta, where I am, it is free. It's completely free. Okay, I don't have to pay any money to anyone, to the government, to it's all free, okay? There are no premiums. And actually, in most provinces in Canada, there are no premiums. Premium is like a monthly or an annual bill that you have to pay to the province, okay, for healthcare insurance. So most provinces don't have premiums, but BC, for example, does have a monthly premium. Now, if you make less than $26,000 in BC, you don't have to pay anything. Great. If you make more than $26,000, then you do have to pay a monthly premium anywhere between $11 and $37. Okay? So that's how BC does it. Now, Ontario, if you make less than $20,000, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. But if you make more than $20,000, then you have to pay between $60 and $900 per year, and that comes off your paycheck. Okay, so in BC, it's like a bill that you have to pay every month, whereas in Ontario, it comes off your paycheck. Okay, so I mean, it's probably going to be, a normal person might pay like $40 a month in Ontario for healthcare, for free healthcare in Ontario, even though it's not free, but it's unlimited. Okay, so what's included? Well, included is unlimited access to hospitals and medical clinics. Okay, so I mean, there are lots of hospitals in Canada, lots of medical clinics. Anything that happens in those places will be free, at least almost everything, okay? If you want to see a doctor, you want to go for a checkup, you want to go for surgery, if you're getting surgery, that's free. If you're getting a test, that's free. Like if you're getting a brain scan or blood test, all of that is free. Now, there are some things that are not included in your healthcare, okay? For example, eye care. Unfortunately, that's not included. Dental, that's not included. Things like physiotherapy, okay? Medicine, your prescription drugs. If you go to a doctor and the doctor gives you a prescription for some sort of drug, okay, that's not going to be free. Then you have to go to a pharmacy. I've made another lesson on pharmacy and how to see a doctor. I'll put those links at the end of this video so you can go check out those if you don't know how to go to a pharmacy or see a doctor, okay? But these things are not free. Now, most jobs have some sort of benefits that cover these things, okay? So, you might have a job that covers 80% dental. So if you go for dental work, the job will cover 80% and you have to pay 20%. Things like that. Sometimes, prescription drugs are completely covered by your job. I don't know. It depends on the job, okay? Now, sometimes you might need some sort of special form from a doctor. For example, when I went to China to teach English, I had to get my doctor to fill out a form for the Chinese government. I guess the Chinese government wanted to know if I'm healthy or not, okay, before they gave me a Chinese visa. So that form cost me, I think, $100 to get filled out. Okay, so there are some things that you might have to pay money for. Vaccinations. If you want to go to Africa and you need to get some vaccinations, that's not going to be covered. You're going to have to pay for those. Not too much money, but like all of this, it's not that expensive. Actually, dental can be very expensive. Okay, so forget about that. But for medicine, for example, is not that expensive. In the USA, prescription drugs are extremely expensive. In Canada, they're not that expensive. Okay, so you also have access to emergency services like police, fire trucks, ambulances. Okay, that's great. Now, if you're in a car accident, an ambulance will come and it's going to be free. But if you call an ambulance to your house, then it's not free. Then you're going to pay anywhere from $50 to $300, depending on where you are in Canada and depending on the situation. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, what about other services like garbage disposal? Well, in Canada, you have to pay money for utilities like lights, water, different things like that. Garbage disposal is not free, but it's a small fee that's added to your utility bills. Okay, so probably, depending on where you live, there will be one day where the garbage truck comes by and you have to put your garbage out in front of your house on that day. And there might be, it depends on where you live. There might be one day for garbage, one day for recycling. There might be even 2 or 3 or 4 days. I don't know. In BC, for example, I know they have a different system than we have in Alberta. In Alberta, it's a bit simpler. Okay, but anyway, you just have to figure out. You have to figure out how to handle garbage when you come here. It's not a big fee. Now here's something that I think you might find very helpful if you're a newcomer to Canada. Okay, most cities in Canada have public libraries. Not just one library, but they have a bunch of libraries in different parts of the city, which offer some really great services. For example, here's a snapshot I took from the Calgary Public Library website. Okay, it says these are some services that the library offers. Okay, free meeting rooms. That's great. In-library Chromebook loans. Okay, so you can loan a laptop. Up to $5 of free printing per month. Wow, that's great. You don't even need to buy a printer. You just need to live near a library somewhere and you can just go there and print your stuff. I've done that at different places. I've lived in Canada. It's very helpful. Okay, 3 hours of computer use per day. Great. You don't even need to buy a computer or even pay for internet. Look, free Wi-Fi. Awesome. Okay, so I think this could really help you, especially if you're new to Canada and you don't have things set up in your house yet. You can just go to a library and access some of the stuff for free. Hey, nature is one of the biggest reasons people come to Canada. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Did you come here for the nature? Personally, I think nature is one of the best things Canada has to offer, and it's free. It's free. Our parks, inside cities, outside cities, there's so much green space. Okay, now that is covered by the city. If you live near a park, okay, the city pays to keep that park clean. The city pays to keep our roads clean. And actually, Canada is one of the cleanest cities in the world, which is amazing. I really appreciate it when places are clean. That's one of the reasons I love Canada so much. Okay, now Canada also has national parks. National parks are huge areas that are sort of governed by all of Canada. They're not like provincial parks, they're national parks. Now there are also provincial parks, but for these parks, usually they're not free. Usually you have to pay a little bit of money, but it's not much. Okay, it's usually under $10. And it's a huge place. It's not like a park in the city. It's like huge place with mountains, forests, lakes. Okay, that's what a national park is. Okay, so to get into these places, it's pretty cheap, under $10. And for an annual pass, I think you can get an annual pass for Banff National Park near my house. Hey, you should Google pictures of Banff National Park. It's not too far from my house. Just a beautiful place. Or Jasper National Park, also here in Alberta. Okay, you can get a national parks pass, I think for like $50 or $60 a year, which really isn't bad. And also, I think you can get a family pass for like $100 or $150. So it's not too bad. You should definitely get a lot of nature when you come to Canada, especially in the summertime. But hey, I want to know, which services in Canada will help you the most? Let me know your answer to this question down there in the homework or in the comment section, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.